Hey, how we doing, Dodger fans? Your first place Dodgers win 2 series this week versus 2 of the better teams in the National League. We'll talk all about that and look forward to the upcoming week all tonight on Dodgers Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together.
Yeah. And who's coming together right now is the Dodgers.
Like crazy.
Your first place Dodgers at 73 and 57. 2 games up on the Giants. You gotta like what they're doing.
You got to. They're holding stuff together with, gum and sticks and rubber bands and, making it work.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360 alongside Hunter Marks and Joshua Gershon. I am Mike Conley. Thanks for tuning in with us, gang. Guys, why don't you let people know, just start off, get it out of the way, where they can reach you on social media, just in case they want to get in touch with us during the show.
Sure, I am Huntsman on Instagram and on Twitter, Hunter_Marks, KS at the end.
I am Joshua Gershon. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Gersh13.
Love that. So guys, tweet them during the show if you have anything you want to steer the conversation in a different direction than it's going. Also hit us up if you can get the answer to this question. What happened at Chavez Ravine 50 years ago today? August 28th, 1966. Whew. So guys, chew on that. We'll come back to it at the end of the show. There's already been a hint in this show regarding what that could be. Anyways, so the Dodgers win today 1-0. You gotta love it. Their second 1-0 win of the week. They beat a Cubs team, which is the best team in the National League, and they do it behind Brock Stewart, who gives a very game effort today.
Was amazing today. 2 hits, 5 innings, 8 strikeouts. Had 6 strikeouts in a row at one point. Was just keeping the Cubs off balance all game, or for all those 5 innings anyway.
Yeah,
and that's not an easy Cubs lineup to get through. They got potent hitters there, and he really just showed some good stuff today, showing he was really striking guys out. So.
Well, that is why they have the top team in the NL as far as record goes. But it's great that they were able to take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, right? Obviously no Kershaw, but even no Kenta Maeda, who has been your second most consistent guy, or like most consistent guy in the post Kershaw injury type situation. So he goes, what did he go? 5 innings today?
5 innings, only 80 pitches.
80 pitches. So that was odd. Were you surprised they pinch hit for him and he didn't come up for the 6th?
At first I was a little shocked until I realized that in the top of the 6th you had Chris Bryant, Rizzo, and Zorbas coming back up, and it's hard to fool these Cubs hitters that many times. I mean, this is a strong lineup. They have 3 of the top 8 guys in RBIs?
Oh wow,
something like that in the National League. It's hard to fool this team. So it was one of these. He's looking good. The 5th inning was his hardest inning by far to get through. So it was one of these things where, can he really fool them a 3rd time?
Right.
So maybe you throw something different at him. They brought in Chavez, who got in a little bit of trouble, and Dayton and Adrian Gonzalez made a hell of a catch to get him out of that jam.
Was huge.
So,
oof.
That was Agon, Gold Glove first baseman. Was showing you why. So that was a huge play.
Yeah, I mean, you know how many times I remind you and thank you for that trade. Yeah. That the Red Sox were able to dump the $250 million in the payroll off of the Dodgers, but that's the one guy that was like painful to see go.
And that was the one guy the Dodgers wanted the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes sense. He's a Mexican dude. He's playing in Southern LA.
Yeah.
Southern California, but it just makes sense. You can always pen him in for $295.
Yeah.
25 bombs. He started off a little slow, but now he's really coming on. 100 RBIs and Gold Glove first base, and that was huge.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Not to go notice though, what really impressed me with Brock also today's win is going up against John Lester,
right?
Who is, as we all know, an incredibly tough pitcher and probably loves moments like these, coming into Dodger Stadium on the road up for a big game like this. He knows we're in first place. We know they're killing it, and the fact that he outdueled him, throwing 80 pitches in 5 innings, like, wow, great game.
Yeah. And the odd way the Dodgers won this one without the benefit of a hit in that 8th inning.
Yeah.
You know?
Hustle, pure hustle. From
Although
Corey Seager.
I argue that Kendrick should have had a hit in an air.
That's true.
I do argue that, but
Agon's actually said that in his post.
yeah.
He was just like, yeah, I was gonna. He should really have. That was like, thank you, Trevor Cahill, for like airmailing that ball down into right field. So that was huge. And then, you know, that play at second base. What is Baez thinking? You know, you got to go through your pre-pitch reads and be like, okay, I got Agon's at the plate, slow, one of the slow players on the Dodgers
in the league.
And then I got, you know, Seager on first, who's fast.
Well, I think they were playing the fact that the Agon's a pull hitter, and not to excuse this, was definitely a mental mistake and a lack of communication between them. But he was playing a little bit on the infield, closer to first base, which is obviously a longer run to second. But at the same time, as Corey Seager just, again, this guy, second year in the league, playing like a veteran, pure hustle second base, and that made the difference in the game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, you playing the guy to pull, so you're in a shift with Agon's, you know. So Zobrist is that far away from the base. You got to, as Baez, know that's your situation. Know how that's your line and say, ground ball to me, I'm going to first base.
And then Zobrist should help out as a veteran, should be helping out the young player and pointing to first base. Like
everybody should be yelling,
one. You know, you got to help him out too. I mean, he's a second-year player, right, Baez?
Yeah.
So you got to help him out a little bit too.
But still, I mean,
it was a mental error.
I haven't played the major leagues in my life. I mean, I learned that in Little League. Come on now.
But hey,
we'll take it.
Yeah. I figure it's a makeup for us kind of blowing that game on Friday. So.
Oh man, and you know, you saw how Conley took that. He
took it hard. Yeah, he took that
because he came out with a vengeance on Saturday.
Yeah, and they used him today, so 3 straight days.
Yeah, he needs a break.
He needs a rest.
Yeah, he definitely needs a break
Who's going to be
tomorrow.
in the closer role tomorrow? I wonder.
Liberatore, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of your best back end guy, I think, besides Kenley. So.
Yeah, but he's a lefty though, and that's so valuable when you need to get a tough lefty out.
But you got Dayton, who pitched really well today.
That's true.
So you know, I actually really like Dayton. I like what I've seen from him so far. He hits about 94, hits 75 on his curve.
Yep.
You know, it's a good change of pace for a lefty coming in there.
Yeah.
So I do like so far what we've seen. I know he's given up a couple long balls, and that's really where he's only gotten hurt because his whip's like 0.7. Like 0.70, so he has a low whip. It's just, he's, you know.
If you're around the plate, you're going to get taken deep.
Yeah, exactly.
Times,
you know, it happens to Kershaw too. Very rarely do you rally on Kershaw. It's usually just someone hits a bomb.
Right.
You know.
Right. Woof! I tell you, you gotta love. They take 2 out of 3. Yesterday's was a very tight affair. Dodgers winning 3-2. Seager, the kid's a stud, hits his 23rd. That's Dodger record for home runs by a shortstop in a season beating.
Guy from the 30s, right?
That's right.
I forget his name, but I know it's a guy I know it was from like 1936 or something.
Glenn Wright.
That's right.
Everybody. And behind another sparkling performance by a rookie starting pitcher too, in Julio Urias. And this kid just every time out gets better and gets better and gets better.
Yeah.
And he's unbelievable.
I mean, that first inning he struggled, and after that first inning he was lights out.
Yeah. After that first inning, I was like, oh, maybe he's not getting better this time.
No.
But then he was.
Yeah, and then he was lights out. Did he give up? Yeah, he gave up a couple singles here and there, I think, after that first inning, but
he was in control for most of
the
game.
He was lights out after that, yeah.
Yeah. Very efficient, and that's one of the things he needs to be working on after that first inning. He goes 6 strong, only allowing the 1 earned run, 8 Ks, 2 walks, scattering 6 hits. 94 pitches he throws, 31 of those in the first inning. So he went 5 innings pitching. Math. 63 pitches.
Yeah, that's.
But that tells you how much
nice.
in control he was after that first inning. Kind of just like really kind of setting the pace there.
You think?
And you know, yeah, I do think, especially if he's going 6 innings after that first one. So, but I think it's impressive too. Like, I can't wait to see this kid next year after a full season in the major leagues and what these numbers are going to be like.
Well, I mean, they're definitely going to be rookie of the year numbers, you would think. At this point.
Unless he winds up pitching too much this year to qualify, which we never know. To qualify as a rookie this year,
yeah, that's true. That's true. He probably is. He probably is going to be a rookie this year. And then it's like your rookie of the year candidates are kind of all from the Dodgers. You know, you got Seager, the front runner. You got Kenta.
Yeah.
And you got
Julio
Urias.
Who I was looking at some stats since facing the Cubs You know, that when he got a little hammered.
Right.
He's had a 2.93 ERA. He has 63 strikeouts in 55 innings.
Wow.
Since that second outing. And, you know, so maybe that trial by fire, we talked about it on the show, where he never looked bad. Yeah, he got hit a little bit, but he never looked awful. Like Stewart looked awful in that second start, Brock Stewart, you know.
Yeah.
He never looked like that. And it was, you know, maybe that trial by fire was what was best for him, because now he's putting it together. He's won 3 straight.
Yeah.
You know, he looks amazing right now. He's striking guys out, walking a lot less.
Yeah.
I think it's really a case of, I think that they just felt like this is a kid that can survive this trial by fire.
Yeah.
You know, because of his makeup and who he is. And, you know, it's funny because a lot of people were thrown off by, like, that malignant mass in the back of his eye and stuff. I'm like, oh, this guy's half blind. We can't draft this kid. You know, and the Dodgers obviously weren't scared away from that. And he's got a great line. He's like, I have no left eye, but God gave me a great left arm. You know, and you know, it's just great, and he's just got great perspective, and I think a lot of it has to be with dealing with that. You know, as a kid, dealing with that type of adversity, you know, as a young man, just makes you mature that much more. You know, quicker, and like it's showing in the way this guy pitches, and it's just, you know, it's a lesson for all you kids out there. You know, if you think that's got something that's holding you back, boom. You overcome that, you have no idea what that can do for the rest of your life.
I like that. I like where you're going with this. The idea of it kind of toughens him up, and like really prepares him for like the rigors of a major league player. Definitely. I hadn't thought about that, but it's definitely a unique perspective that I'm getting behind.
That's all I bring here, Hunter, is unique perspective. You know, this is for a while we were throwing around unique perspectives, Rap 360. We decided to go with Dodgers Rap 360. But,
you made the right choice.
Oh man! So also helping himself with a line drive single in that game.
Yeah,
too. You know that was great.
And Brock Stewart getting his first career hit today.
Right.
He got his first career hit off John Lester, no less, and the first hit of the game for the Dodgers.
Craziness.
I still think we're the best hitting team for pitchers in baseball. I thought we were last year with Kershaw, Greinke, and all those guys hitting. I still think this year, especially with all the new names. So,
that's bold.
Bumgarner's the best hitting pitcher.
Yeah,
but you can't deny the guy who's hitting home runs as a pitcher, left and right.
Yeah, the Mets got some good guys too.
They do.
Fork and rake.
Yeah.
But I like your homerism. It's all good. Always welcome here on the Dodgers
it's all
show.
positive vibes.
Also, after Saturday's game, Dodgers reach 3 million in attendance for the 5th straight year.
Yeah.
It's funny how they always come in after the second inning. Yeah, I said it, guys. I'm at the games. I see it. I know you're there too.
Yeah.
And all that work being an excuse, but still.
Yeah.
By the 5th inning, it's a packed house.
Which Cubs games you guys go to?
I did not get to go to one but I did go to I was supposed to go to the Tuesday Giants game, but some stuff popped up for my wife and I. We weren't able to go, but it was probably better as I'm like 1-9 this year in games I've attended. So
stay away, Josh.
Yeah. And the only game I won was one Kershaw pitched in. So,
oh man,
I missed the Cubs series myself, but I was home watching on my couch, which is also one of my favorite places. So it was just as fun as being at the game, and a lot and a lot cheaper too, by the way.
Right. They dropped it, you know, you kind of mentioned it a little bit on Friday's game on that pass ball, you know?
Yeah.
So Ruiz comes in. Yeah, let's talk about that game in a little bit, but the trade this week.
Yeah.
A.J. Ellis and a minor league pitcher whose name I forget.
Yeah.
What's his name?
It's unimportant because he's never going to make it to the majors anyway. So.
I know. I mean, I think he was second in the California League in strikeouts. I mean, it could be something there.
You know,
it's
always tough to lose a fan favorite and such a great person by all accounts like AJ Ellis, just like the consumer professional, great interviewer, and just an all-around good guy. I guess for me, the thing with the trade that I'm a little confused about is really the timing of it. We're winning. We just beat Cincinnati. We took 2 from the Cubs. You know, the timing was a little odd to me, but I'm also, I know we've touched upon this before, I'm not really sold on like chemistry between the clubhouse almost all the time, because there's plenty of people who've not gotten along in one World Series. It's just the timing of trading him now I was a little confused about, but overall Ruiz is a better player defensively and offensively. So I'm personally gonna miss AJ from a fan perspective, but I understand why they did it.
I'd say offensively he is. I don't know about defensively. AJ's a pretty good defensive catcher.
And AJ is really good with the pitchers.
Yeah, he's really good, and that kind of goes into defense for me. Anything that's not hitting is like how you handle pitches, how you call a game. That all kind of for a catcher comes on the.
Do you think overall this is like Ruiz is a positive addition over AJ? Then?
I mean, it's like almost a push as far as clubhouse presence because Ruiz is a good clubhouse presence too. But Ellis, I mean, the dude is Kershaw's caddy.
Yeah.
And I mean, he you know, to not consult Kershaw on such a thing, it's a little.
Well, remember what I said
questionable.
early on in the season. I wouldn't be surprised if this ownership group didn't bring Kershaw back when he opts out.
Yeah, that's crazy. How could they do that? They can't do that.
You never know.
Let's save that conversation. for later
Yeah,
date.
not now, Joe.
We don't like to think about that. We like to think about being in first place.
I heard
people light him up at Kirsch13 on Twitter. Tell him not to talk. Keep it to yourself, Kershaw. Not being a Dodger, we don't want to hear that.
I think one of the most heartbreaking stories I heard after the trade was the tender moment between AJ and Kershaw.
where
And I
they
heard
cried.
They had a moment together because they are best friends. It's on record that they're best friends, and like they had a little moment together because you don't see that too often in sports. So.
Yeah. I think
Kind of a sweet thing.
I think the timing is really just to kind of maybe bring up the point you did. It's really they just kind of look at how bad they have versus left-handed hitters. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like they look at around their roster on guys that they can improve, and it's like you get a guy like Ruiz who's like a career 275 hitter versus lefties, versus AJ who's like a career 235 hitter versus lefties. So, that's a chance to, he's still going to not get more starts than Grandal. He's going to be that second catcher.
Right.
He'll be a positive guy, but he'll be a better bat off the bench for them, no doubt.
Well, no, I agree. And Ruiz does have World Series experience, which is good. He brings that in. And also, when he was in the World Series, crushed it.
Wait, the Phillies won a World Series?
Oh, yeah.
81?
07, Jimmy Rollins.
Oh, no, it was post Mike Schmidt.
It was the 03?
03.
Oh, yeah.
So he was another one who had that. He had a big World Series. I remember. He hit 360 in that World Series. So he does bring that caliber. That kind of player. You get a little bit more experience there, and so
a guy that can rise to the occasion when the lights are bright.
Yeah.
How do you think AJ Ellis felt when he woke up and he was in first place, and when he went to bed he was in last place team?
Wow. AJ, if you're listening, tweet this kid. Let him know that.
I feel for him, man. I'm in first place. Oh, I'm in last place.
Yeah, that's tough.
But at the same time, I think Ellis can owe a lot to still being in the majors to Clayton Kershaw.
Of course.
No question.
Who do you think signs his checks? Just kidding.
No question. What was kind of funny to me is that, it seemed like when they did the Puig demotion, it seemed like team chemistry and clubhouse atmosphere
it got better.
Was a higher priority than, maybe performance or stats or whatever, the numbers. But now, you get rid of a clubhouse guy, for a guy who hits lefties better, and it's kind of
But at the same time, someone who is supposed to be a good clubhouse guy. So, I mean, granted, he doesn't have the chemistry with the Dodgers, but at least you're not bringing in a cancer into the team either, just to hit left-handed pitching.
Right.
You're not going totally selling out, to do that. And I mean, things might be different too if Austin Barnes were healthy as well, which he's not.
Right.
So,
right.
They just they just don't have a lot of options unless they want to bring Puig back up.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the Mr. Puig got put on revocable waivers today.
Yes.
So if he passes through every team when nobody claims him, that means the Dodgers could trade him as if it was pre 31st, July 31st. But then explain to me, if someone claims them, they have a certain window to get a trade done?
Yeah, they have 47 business hours
47 business
to work
hours.
out a deal.
So 9 to 6.
Yeah, I know. It's
9 to 6.
It was one of those things that was just bizarre to me. Like
47. In LA, I think it's 10 to 7.
And then you can arrange a trade to that team.
Okay.
You can rescind and keep the player, or you can do nothing and just let that team absorb the contract.
Okay.
And if you do that, there is a waiver fee I believe the Dodgers would have to pay. But that's why there is talk of Ryan Braun potentially coming to the Dodgers.
Because he's got such a huge contract, he's gonna clear waivers.
He's still owed I believe 4 years and $76 million.
Wow.
I think something in that neighborhood.
Right.
So no one's going to pick up that money and just take it, except the Dodgers maybe.
Right.
But you're not going to have too many other teams doing it unless the Giants do it out of spite just to make sure he doesn't go to the Dodgers or something like that, which
Right.
you never know. But
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't see the Giants doing that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
a lot of money for a spite.
Yeah. But I see the Dodgers doing it.
yeah, and especially because he kills left-handed pitching.
Yeah. And he kills left-handed pitching, and it's like, if there's some room for improvement, it's kind of the outfield, just because of how fluctuating that. I mean, you look at third base, you got a stud there.
Yeah.
Shortstop, you got a stud there. First base, you got a stud there. Second base, you got a 37-year-old who's playing out of his mind. You know, so it's like, and the guy that backs him up is a 32-year-old that can hit.
Yeah.
You know, so, but you know, seeing Howie. Somebody ran on him this year on his like this week, and it was just like, oh, there could be a play at the plate. Nope, there's not. He can't get it there.
Yeah.
So it's like more and more teams are going to be doing that on old Howie. I don't know how
Yeah,
long
I mean,
he can survive as
he's
an
playing.
outfielder.
Yeah, he's playing serviceable, but now you're looking at the arm strength, and it's like when Carl Crawford was out there.
Right,
You know, so
that's true. So what do you like? Most likely for Puig, I would say they're not going to be able to work out a trade. So maybe someone's just going to be stuck with him. They'll put a claim and they'll just eat the contract and be gone.
No, I think the Dodgers will pull him back.
Yeah?
I believe someone will claim him. In fact, I think more than one team would try to claim him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
They're
in-
going to need
it-
his skill set.
Yeah, and in that case, the team with the lesser record actually gets him. If
Right.
more than one team puts the claim in.
But then they have to, so they get the claim.
Yeah,
And then the Dodgers have that window
to work out the deal.
to work out the deal. If they don't work out the deal, then the Dodgers pull him back.
Yeah,
Right?
Or they can let him walk, which they won't let him walk.
They're not going to let him
Okay.
walk. No.
This Friedman's not going to let someone like that just walk.
And get nothing from him in return.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, because his contract isn't that bad, right?
No,
it's
it's
what,
great.
like
Very friendly.
20. He's not.
He's already been
producing.
paid
It's a
most of
AAA.
Yeah, 5 for 25, I think, something like that.
But it's only like what, 3 more years?
Yeah.
2 more years?
2 more years.
2 more years.
So
2 years.
2 at like $5 million a year.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Okay, maybe team friendly. If the guy can get to his potential.
he was
obviously.
paid mostly up front, I believe, from most
Yeah.
of that contract. So
but you know that's why more than likely a deal will be worked out in the offseason.
that's what I was thinking too. Why negotiate with 1 or 2 teams now when you can negotiate with all the teams in the offseason?
Yeah.
Kind of just like let that ride.
Yeah, exactly. Where they can kind of set the terms. That seems to be more the way this ownership group goes. Although I joked with some friends that the way this ownership group views things, because I joked that it's kind of viewed as like a hedge fund, right? This is the kind of group that would, now that what Seager's all good, they'll go out and trade him for like 5 relief pitching prospects.
Oh,
You're killing me right now.
terrible. So Agon keeps raking. Today he had 2 more hits. Did they give him no, they didn't
No,
give him
that
a hit
was
on that.
they
Was
gave
a
him a
fielder's
hit.
choice.
It was fielder's choice, yeah.
So
Still got the RBI, though.
coming into today, in his last 20 games, he was hitting 367 with 7 homers and 23 RBIs. So, I mean, he got off to a slow start. We were like, oh, is this going to be the beginning end for this guy? But no, he turned it around. He's going to be at his, you know.
Remember at the beginning of the year, I talked about how his swing looked so slow, and it seemed like he just needed some time to get in a rhythm. Like maybe he just needed some time to work and get back into a normal swinging rhythm. As you get older, as we all know, it gets a little harder to do things. So maybe it takes you a little longer.
you're talking about.
If there's one thing we know about Adrian, he's a smart hitter. He knows how
Yeah.
to work counts and go deep in the counts. And there's only a matter of time before like the ball started dropping where he wanted it.
And I was listening to Tony Gwynn Jr. after the game today, and he brought up a good point because Turner had a really bad at bat in that 8th
Which
inning.
one? Oh yeah.
In the 8th inning with that when he struck out, it was not a good at bat either. And he's like Gonzalez. Sometimes you just have to put the ball in play.
Right.
Like just put it in play and see what happens.
Yeah.
And Turner, my issue with Turner is he loves that high fastball. He swings at it every time.
Yeah.
He does. That's his kryptonite, that high fastball.
And the guy was throwing 97 today too.
Yeah.
In that 8th inning. So
and it was just, but Gonzalez went down 0-2, worked a couple balls. He worked the count a little bit, whereas Turner, 5 pitches, he was done.
Right.
And you don't, from a number 3 hitter, you don't want to see something like that.
and then Jock. That was rough. That was a rough
Oh
8th
yeah,
inning.
Jacques had 2 really bad at bats and a bad play in the field today.
Yeah.
He almost fell down today on a swing.
It was crazy. Like 3 weeks ago, it looked like he was turning a corner.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
And then now he's like 1 for his last 23 or something. It's pretty crazy. He's also like arguing with umps at like strikes that are probably strikes.
That was a strikeout.
Yeah,
That was a strike.
and he had one yesterday, 2 days ago, where he griped, and it was a strike as well.
He
But,
threw that helmet down with vengeance and just glared
Well,
at the umpire.
today that ball looked low, but it was close enough.
right,
Close enough for your hat to like
Yeah,
say.
it was
You gotta
close
be-
enough.
got to be hacking.
Yeah.
got to be hacking. All right, now how about the last game in that Giants series? Unfortunately, we couldn't get the sweep of the hated Giants, but Matt Moore was extraordinary. And maybe this is a different tact of how the Giants are going to... You know how we talked about, they pick up Matt Moore at the deadline. We pick up Josh Reddick, who can't hit lefties.
Yeah.
and then they pick up Matt Moore, who is a lefty.
Yeah.
And so now they have Matt Blum and Matt Moore to throw out. So maybe this is a strategical tact by the Dodgers to let them no-hit him. No-hit them until 8 2/3. Then the man, Sega, bloops it in. Terrible effort by the right fielder, by the way. And
Yeah, how do you not lay out for that ball?
right? How do you not lay out? Even if it goes to the wall, it's...
Who cares?
He hadn't been
one
doing
run.
anything all day. He hadn't been working all day. He was just...
I guess so. He was tight.
Oh, no, watching that game, I really was like, I'm sorry, you need to lay out for that. You need to back up your pitcher at that point.
You look at what the last out before that span.
Yeah, and I thought when he got up and kind of was pounding, touting his chest, poking his chest out at the Dodger fans, I'm like, I think you just cost your karma's going to get you, and you're going to cost your team your pitcher that no hitter. Because to me in that situation, yeah, you made a great play, and he did. Spawn made a great play. It's like, but it's backing up your pitcher. Your pitcher's throwing a no hitter. It should be all about the pitcher, not about you. I made this great catch. It should be about I'm helping my pitcher get this no hitter.
Right.
And I thought Pagan was in right field. I think it was Pagan.
I don't know who it was, but
he
didn't lay out.
No, I don't think he would have made the play. But to me, in that situation, 2 outs, you're up 4-0. Give it a shot, man.
Do you think Morris had a talk with him in the clubhouse? He's like, listen, man.
I think Bochy just should have put on Sega. He just should have put him before.
That's when I
It
want
was his bobblehead night. He's obviously going to come through.
See, that's when I want the guys mic'd up. That's when I want to hear them on mic.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. That'd be great. So I mentioned that the 1-0 win today was the second 1-0 win for the Dodgers this week. The first one was courtesy of one Rich Hill.
Yeah.
Finally pitching in a Dodgers uniform and getting his first win as a Dodger.
And looking great.
Yeah, it was
great.
Yeah.
After all that rust, no walks.
Six singles? He only gave up 6 singles. I don't even think a guy reached second base on him.
Craziness.
And he was everything you wanted. Where with the A's, the reason he was so effective was he moves around on the mound a lot. Do you notice that? So the placement's always different, but he's always around the plate, and he just has a very deceiving motion in general. So it's hard for guys to pick him up. And you mentioned it before when they traded for him that he kind of figured that out with the Red Sox, that he was kind of he was kind of figuring that out. And if Rich Hill can be Rich Hill, who he was before he got hurt, I mean that's a legit one starter.
Yeah.
So if Kershaw does come back and he's throwing a simulated game Tuesday,
He's throwing a sim game after a couple good bullpens.
So if Kershaw does come back, to me, Kershaw's rested, so he might have to shake off a little rust. But now you have, instead of Kershaw carrying the team the whole season, now you have a rested Kershaw going into the playoffs with Rich Hill.
I'm very excited.
That's
about
a pretty good 1-2 punch there.
Not to mention like that. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but that kind of mystique or aura a team that becomes a World Series team. A team like the Giants has kind of had a monopoly on that in the NL West for the past 6 or so seasons, And it's like maybe there's a power shift happening, especially with the way the Dodgers won that one today. It's like, ooh, these guys are finding ways to win games, even when they're not hitting the ball.
It was a time where they didn't make the fundamental mistake.
Right, right, which is shocking. And it's very encouraging that it happened to the Cubs. And this is a Cubs team that, at time they look pretty shaky defensively. I mean, Chris Bryant, he made a nice play in left field today, but he's kind of somewhat of a liability at third base defensively and the outfield. The dude rakes. So he's obviously in there, as we saw Friday night with him hitting 2 bombs.
And bombs, I mean, wow. Like Agon's bomb was that was one of those too where he got up in the seats on that one. That was what impressed me about Agon. When I saw him bang that home run Friday, it was just one of those ones where you're like, that's Agon. Like that's He's back. That's Adrian Gonzalez right there.
Definitely. And it seems like maybe JT's kind of quieting down a little bit, but now Aegon is like, all right, I'll take the mantle. You can be, the third best hitter on the team now. I'll be, first or second behind Rookie of the Year Seager. Should we just give it to him right now? Or now he's an MVP candidate, pretty much. So
I think it's safe to say he is the Rookie of the Year on lock.
Once Diaz got hurt and once Story got hurt,
Yeah.
It seemed like 3 finalists, all shortstops, but now those guys are hurt. It's like...
And his WAR was a lot better than both those guys anyway.
Yeah.
So his WAR was a lot higher.
Yeah.
Wins above replacement for...
There you go. I love those sabermetrics, we got to bone up on our sabermetrics. This is where the game is headed, I'm kind of old school. It's going to take a while for me. But one thing we don't want to be remiss, so not only was there the Cubs series this week and the Giants series, but they had that odd wraparound where they, beat the Reds in that game where the ball was just flying out of there.
7 home runs?
Yeah, and they went back-to-back twice.
Yeah.
First time with 2 guys getting their first Major League home run in Tolles and Seguin.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was nice to see, too. Just 2 guys who Tolles had a lot of off-field issues.
How impressive has he been, though, with this?
He has, yeah. I agree. He's got speed. He plays a pretty good outfield. He's, all he needs to do is find ways to get on base, and...
Which he's been doing, which he's doing fine of. And what's he paid? Well over 300 now. And
I think he's near 400. He doesn't have a lot of at-bats, but yeah,
Right.
I think he is near 400.
Yeah.
So, but it's... here's a guy who, with his speed, if he can actually figure out a consistent way to get on base, that's a dude that's going to be an everyday player.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
358 gang.
And that's the thing the Dodgers don't really have an element of those speedster guys before Tolles, and kind of that guy who could really lead the team in stolen bases and take that extra base for such a single into a double. And he brings a nice element to the game that we're going to need come playoff time. That's for sure.
He's definitely shaping off on that playoff roster like that official pinch runner guy.
Yeah.
A la his manager back in 04
Yeah.
with the Boston Red Sox. Hello.
Because after Tolles, who would be the Dodgers speedster? Jacques?
Jacques.
Jacques?
It is
Jacques,
Jacques.
yeah.
And then to a lesser extent, Seager.
Seager, yeah.
So they don't have speed. Speed's not one of the things they have.
They do now.
Yeah, Tolles is nice. And that's all of Friedman, because he came up with Tampa, so
Yeah.
they brought him over. Thank him for Liberatore as well. Turner hit his 24th in that 1-0 Dodgers win, the Rich Hill one. I think that's a career high for him, right?
Yes.
I believe. So he's got another month plus to add on to that, so we'll get to 30 bombs for his first 30 home season. Seguin, big week for Rob Seguin, and not only does he hit his first homer, but the next day he hits his second homer, and then they pull him from the game. He thinks he's coming out for a double switch, and then they're like, no, your wife's in labor. Get to the hospital. What a week.
How great is that, though, really?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to his kid. And
absolutely.
Dad hits a couple bombs for your son. So.
Well, welcome to the world,
Yeah.
Robinson Seguin. So Rob Seguin and his wife, Robin Seguin,
Yes.
have their son, Robinson Seguin.
Love it.
Do I see a George Foreman thing maybe
I hope so.
developing here?
I hope so. I hope they just get different spellings of Robins in there.
Yeah.
R-Y-N, just I-N, just R-E-N.
That's it.
Robin.
But, the ball was flying out of Cincinnati that one game, and it was great. Did you see that audio when Agons comes back after his home run? He's like, I love this park. It's great audio, folks, if you haven't heard it. Yeah.
Because one of them he really did not think was going to be a home run.
Right.
He said, I believe he said later, Dodger Stadium, that ball dies, at the warning track.
Yeah.
It went over.
Yeah.
Keep running.
So Josh knows this, but anybody light you guys up on the Twitter? You know what happened 50 years ago with Chavez Ravine?
I don't, but I have an idea of where it miite be going.
Okay.
Beatles-ish there.
The Beatles played Chavez Ravine on this date 50 years ago. It's crazy.
I feel really young.
I was in the 10th row. I feel very old. Just kidding. Boy. So, looking ahead to this week, okay, you can't have a collapse because you come off this high where you take 2 out of 3 from the Giants, 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. Now you go on the road for a short 3-game set with Colorado, off day Thursday, and then come back for 3 with the Pods. Can't have a letdown here. And Colorado has played the Dodgers reasonably tough this year.
That's always the team I worry about come every pennant race in the end of the year. That team, the Rockies, don't be mistaken, they're usually not in it, but they're usually the ones bidding up the teams that are in it.
Right.
They do, yeah. They do have a knack
And
for
they've done this consistently last couple of seasons. So that team I really don't like facing towards the end of the year.
They definitely want to stick it to the Dodgers, no
And
doubt.
in Colorado, so tough. Always to beat them in Colorado.
True. So it'd be nice to come away with at least a 500 week, if not a 4-2 week.
Yeah.
That'd be very delightful. You guys want to say anything else before we sign off, gang?
AJ, I wish you luck, buddy.
Seriously.
Just want to say thank you for your years of service.
Hey, the Phils are going to. They're getting a great catcher, and their catcher is kind of a young guy whose name is escaping me right at the moment, but can hit. But, could probably use a little shaping as far as how to handle the staff and stuff like that. And they got a very young staff over there. So, AJ, this could be a prolonging of his career, actually.
And I could
Probably
see
is, yeah.
And I can see him managing after this.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I think he's got that temperament and
Another catcher manager.
Play the
Why
right
not?
position.
Yeah.
Play the right position. So.
they're most of them are catchers, aren't they?
You don't
Yeah,
come
right.
across players who are so... You do once in a while, but so universally loved by a clubhouse, which is what he was, which is kind of really like the shock with the team and the trade, so...
It's true. We wish you the best, AJ. Well, all right, guys. For Hunter Marks and Joshua Gershon, I am Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Thanks, guys.
Go Dodgers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.